Welcome to Founders Call. It's April the 4th. It is late. I'm tired, but we're going to get through this and we're going to have a fantastic time. So if this is your first time to Founders Call, I want to give a little brief intro here. My name is Tyler Jordan. I am the general partner at the Nova House, and we do these calls to bring information to the marketplace that might be our current investors, our future investors, future partners, people that just want to keep tabs on what we're doing, people that are interested in learning about international development, whatever it might be. There is a notion in investment vehicles that the communication is arguably lower than it's ever been before. You're investing into a syndication or a fund or some type of vehicle, and you might be getting an email once a year that says things are good or things are bad or whatever it might be. And for some people, that's fantastic. But for others, they want to be more updated. They want to be more involved. They want to go through the process. They want to understand how things happen. They might even get that might be even why they're investing. They might be investing because they want to learn through experience. So they might put their money into a vehicle or a syndication or a fund or whatever it might be, knowing that fund communicates so regularly that they're almost learning themselves as they go with some skin in the game to make it real for them. And that's what these calls are for. They are to bring you along on that journey if that person is you. And then if it is not, then you're not watching this. So if you are watching this, welcome. You are that person. So Founders Call, welcome. I do these every 2 weeks. So every second Thursday, I will do these. I do not have a time that I drop them because it is different every time. Right now it is 8 p.m. and I've been working since 3:30. So I'm sorry for the low energy and the lethargic voice. It's time for bed. So we're going to go over a few things here. We're going to go over general updates. We're going to go over property development, what's happened over the last 2 weeks. Or in Australia, we call it a fortnight, and what's happening over the next fortnight or 14 days. Career openings that we have, and then a closing statement. General updates. For those of you who haven't been to Founders Call before, I repeat updates for 2 of these calls in a row, just in case, because I know that people, aren't able to keep up with all of them. So last Founders Call, we went over the fact that we got all K1s, K2s, and K3s out. They all went out on time by a hair, and we're very excited about that. To get all that done and to be over with. We are still doing a lot of tax stuff on our end, but for our investors, that all went out on time, March 15th, which is fantastic. At that time, we went to TNDDA in Houston, Texas. Sorry, I was just reading that. I wasn't sure if we'd been at this point had been there or not. But we just finished at TNDDA, which was an incredible experience, and I'll touch on that a little bit more. We found out about the PPM and due diligence reports that are a requirement for this fundraising. Where we had a bunch of interest from TNDDA. We had 18 people, which was half of the room of RIAs, broker dealers, and family offices say they want to follow up with us and potentially start forming that relationship to get involved. And then we got invited to go to ADISA in Chicago, which is another conference for this. So I will touch on those a little bit more, but I want to go over some of the new updates. Tokenization model for exits. We have come into contact with a company called Red Swan, who do tokenization of digital, of real estate primarily, but digital assets. They have, I believe, around 9 billion of assets right now that have been tokenized. And we are in communications with them about the potential to tokenize our fundraise or a partial of our fundraise for our properties, which we're thinking that we're not actually going to do. We might do that at a much later stage. But what we're really excited about is the potential to tokenize an exit for investors. So what happens is, we ourselves as managers of the Nova House, we don't ever want to sell property. We make fees when we're operating that property. We are in this business and we're in this industry because we want to own property. However, investors and getting investment and getting funds and raising capital, investors want an exit. That's how they operate. That exit might be 3 years, might be 5 years, might be 7, it might be 10. But there's always an exit period, and it causes a bit of a pull between us and investors, because we want to stay in an asset and we want to stay in this, whereas investors want to get out. And it's hard to do both. It's hard for us to keep it and exit the investors. Whereas with tokenization, what you can do is you can create shares and create tokens of that asset after 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it might be, for the value of the property, whatever it might be valued at from a third party. And then you can exit those investors through other investors buying those shares. We continue to hold that asset as we wish. Investors get their exit as they wish. And then new investors get access to an asset that they want access to. And it becomes this beautiful cycle where everyone wins. So we're very excited about that. It is very early days, and this is probably going to be the only update that I have on it for right now, because it is so far out. But I do want to let you know that this is something that we've been chasing for around 2 years now, is tokenizing or tokenization of things. And sorry, not things, tokenization of property. And we were at the final stages of tokenizing the whole thing almost, and really going the distance with a company that unfortunately fell through and is looking very dire at the moment. So I don't want to touch on that too much, but it's something that we were very excited about, and unfortunately things happen within their company that ultimately that venture that we had organized sort of came to a screeching halt. So we've been on the search, and we finally found Red Swan, which is looking very promising. So I'll keep you guys updated on that as things move forward. But that is a multi-year down the road conversation. We have had a very fruitful few weeks in terms of investors and partners. Not sure where it's come from. You go through plateaus, you go through these droughts, and then you go through these floods. And we're currently in a flood right now, or what kind of feels like a flood, where we've got so many relationships and so many partnerships that have been either dead in the water or just not going anywhere, have all of a sudden shown interest, and things have started happening. Negotiations are coming about. People want to get on board. People are coming to us with their own terms, and things are really starting to happen. So we're very excited about that. I don't want to get overly excited about it, because nothing happens until things are signed and money hits the bank and boots hit the ground. But things are looking very promising, which is very exciting. And it's all partners and investors who are coming on board, not just with capital. And while that's a bonus, they're coming on board with their own assets. They're coming on board with decades worth of skills, track record, and a reputation that is going to take the Nova House to a level and to that next level, which we're really excited about. And that's the big one for us. So I will keep you updated with that. I wanted to tease it a little bit because it kind of feels good and I'm excited about it, but I don't want to tease it too much where I jinx it and shoot myself in the foot. So I will keep you guys updated on that as things progress. In terms of due diligence for TNDDA and this broker-dealer RIA family office circuit that we're entering into, we've engaged Buttonwood for our due diligence reports. And there are 2 types of reports, to give you some info on this. And this is a great learning experience for anyone that doesn't know. We've gone through this learning curve over the last few weeks, and it's been very steep. But there are 2 types of reports that RIAs, broker-dealers, and family offices require before they even think about investing in you. And there is a program report and a sponsor report, which is also sometimes called an operational report. And to go over those, the program report is a very in-depth report that is done on your investment. So are you in real estate? Are you in oil and gas? Are you in mining? Are you, what industry are you in? But like, what is your vehicle, your fund, your whatever it might be? And they will go deep on that, and they will pull it all apart and do a big report on that. And then that report is available for potential investors, RIAs, broker dealers, etc., to have as a third party unbiased opinion. And it's very deep. It's something that we're realizing it's extraordinarily deep. And the other one is a sponsor report, which is a report on the company and the sponsors. So myself, Martin, and the company that we have. And that goes through everything. Goes through the financials of the company, the health of the health of those financials, the runway, the operations, how the operations are done, who's managing things, what the structures are, who's looking after what the plans are for if someone dies or if someone gets sick, or like what happens if X, Y, and Z. And it's kind of like being audited by the IRS is what this feels like. Before actually going through it, it's kind of what it feels like. So we're being we're being prepared for that level of an audit, but apparently times 10. So kind of intimidating, especially as a company and a fund that is brand new, an offering that is new. It's almost impossible to have the things that are in their eyes 5 stars. So super healthy financials. It's like we're a new company. Like we don't have 10 or $15 million in the bank. So it's one of those ones where it's like, our reports probably aren't going to be fantastic to start off with, but we're embracing this with open arms. And on that note, we understand and we have a pretty strong idea of the level of legitimacy and strength that is required within the company and the investments for your due diligence reporting to come out looking good. And it's definitely for companies with decades of history and millions of dollars worth of foundational work and backing. As a new fund, we need to bring on those aspects and beef up our team, because we're not a company that's been around for 15 years. So we need to somehow find those strengths. We need to find a way to satisfy all those requirements. And for us, it's about building that team. And that's what we're good at. We're good at building teams. I'm not fantastic at anything, but everyone around me is. And the same with Martin. He's not the best at anything, but he's great at putting people around him who are. And, we're going to lean in on those strengths of ours, which is, building a team and finding those people and do that. So we are sourcing and engaging in negotiations with resort operators, developers, and people who have all of the know-how on and the track record and the credentials on paper that says, wow, this is perfect. Like this is the fund to be invested in. This is the offering that has the stacked A team. And that's what we are trying to bring to the table. So we're leaning in pretty heavily with that. Now, PPM, while not required in most cases, it is required by RIAs, broker dealers, and family offices. So currently right now we have a very robust subscription agreement that was done by Rutan and Tucker. And we are now underway in getting a PPM done for our offering. PPMs are very expensive, and to be honest, we're still not quite sure why. Seems like the range is ridiculous. We've had somebody quote us a PPM for $3,000. And last week I had a lady quote us a PPM for $95,000. Yet almost everyone you talk to, regardless of the range, says that a PPM is mainly just a copy and paste and personalizing it to you. So it's a pretty wild range for a document. Nonetheless, we are underway with that and getting that done. And then also, just out of curiosity's sake, for whoever is interested in knowing, due diligence reports, you're looking at between $30,000 and $75,000 to get due diligence reports done on your company. That is split into a program report and a sponsor report, or you can get a ever so slightly cheaper report by doing a hybrid report, which is not as in depth, but it goes over both of them. And that's a few $1,000s less. Just in case anyone was wondering. It is what these are about, by the way. It's for people who are interested in learning and understanding. And each week they're like, wow, I'm actually learning something from what I'm invested in. Or you might come to these and you're learning so much that you're like, wow, I'm learning so much that I want to get involved. And that's the goal here, is to build trust and be as open and transparent about everything that is happening as possible. I haven't really had too many more photos or videos from the last 2 weeks because it's mainly just been me in this chair working and on the phone getting things done over the last 2 weeks. But this is just from the last couple from TNDDA. These we had, it says here 17. It was actually 18 firms who were interested from TNDDA. We had a lot of this of people who are very excited about our presentation and getting involved, which is awesome. We've met some friends in Houston that we've been chatting with online, and me and Martin looking spick and span. I do not ever wear a suit, so I hope that that suit jacket that I'm wearing is Martin's, and I feel very uncomfortable being that dressed up. For anyone of you who this is not your first founders call, you will know that I am most comfortable in a tee and shorts that are all ripped and torn, and that's the way that I like to be. So anyway, it was a fantastic experience. 10 apparently. Now, property development. I always start this with capital raising is at the top of the funnel. Other property updates are secondary to capital coming in, meaning that we will be very hesitant on pushing forward with more properties and more developments and more of everything and overcommitting ourselves before the capital comes in. We are raising a $40 million rounds Reg D 506C offering for the Nova House, and that capital will be deployed in tranches of $3 million. So every $3 million that is raised, that capital will be deployed. Does not mean, though, that we cannot plan and build and secure and get everything ready so that as that capital comes in, that rubber hits the road. So last week we spoke that permitting got underway, which is a lovely process that I love because you're in absolutely no control. And that's the hardest part for me in property, is that I'm a control freak. Admittedly, I don't know if I'm proud of it or if I'm not, but I am obsessively controlling in terms of I want to be able to make things work rather than just hope that they work. And permitting is a hard one because it's completely out of your control. So we've entered permitting. I'm trying to be as hands off as possible. Let Martin do that one. And then in terms of Santa Teresa property, last call we spoke that we have 3 properties that are looking ripe for an LOI. One in particular is so phenomenal that it's actually quite worrying. And we've actually had a few people now do their due diligence on it for us, or preliminary due diligence, because it kind of seems too good to be true. However, I will talk about that in this one. So we're also discussing creative ways of locking up property with little to no funding. So new ones. We have signed with a renowned interior designer, Esteban Salas. I don't know what it is. Everyone has their word. For me, that is my word, and it's Esteban's last name. I just can't get the word out. Salazar. It's so disrespectful that I can't do it. I just can't. I don't know why. I do apologize, Esteban. I really do. I respect you so much. But Esteban is an incredible guy who does work for some of the largest companies in the world. Is very excited about what we're building with the Nova House and attaching his name to it. As are we, super excited to be attaching Esteban's name to what we have and saying, look at what we have. This is done by not only Kanyes, but now complemented by Esteban. So it's super exciting. We've just signed with him today. So we've just started looping him into conversations with Kanyes and the lighting design company, Puri, all sorts of things. And things are starting to kick off. So we're you can probably see by how quickly my moods change talking about it. It gets me really, really excited. Companies like Marriott, the Sheraton, Four Seasons, Land Rover, Johnny Walker, John Deere, it's unbelievable. And this is just a very small portion of his clientele that he works with. If you go to his website, you will see this. This is on a never-ending scroll, and there is an unbelievable amount of companies that he's doing work for. It's incredible. So yes, that's a huge one. Very excited. Our Satena permit got submitted today, which I'm just showing here. So hello, Martin. How are you? I'm going to prepare the second bill. The permitting in Satena was presented this morning. I will be following up. So Satena is submitted. We're underway. Things are happening. Things are moving. Martin is headed down to Costa Rica this Sunday through Thursday. There is so many things happening, where everything from moving forward on insurances to Martin has multiple meetings set up every single day, all the way from Liberia Airport, which is in the north of Costa Rica, all the way down to the bottom of Costa Rica over about 5 days. And 5 days is including arrival and departure. I don't know how he's going to do it. I don't know how he's going to sleep. I don't know. It's going to be insane, and I don't envy him whatsoever. However, he's going down there to meet with a potential partnership with an international resort developer who now lives in Costa Rica. And if he does come on board, he will be coming on board with land to contribute as part of his deal that we're building with him, and that land is in Playa Grande, right near Tamarindo, which is one of our next locations. So a little spoiler there. This also comes in with what we were speaking about above, which says we're discussing creative ways of locking a property with little to no funding, and if we can not only lock up a property but own a property with no money and bring on someone who is going to just skyrocket the company, it's a huge win for everyone. So I don't want to release too much about that. I will name drop and get into that as things progress with that. But if you are watching this, very excited about working with you, and I'm really glad that we've come in contact. There's also a potential partnership with a seasoned resort developer in Costa Rica who has had multiple exits in the country. And he's now looking to not only contribute some of his own land, but also potentially coming on board to continue development and continue expansion with the Nova House. Again, don't want to drop details just yet, but I will keep you updated as that progresses. There's also a potential partnership with a seasoned hotel developer and operator, more so on the operations side. This one is a very exciting one. I know that these are like, wow, that's super, but this one is one that particularly Martin has got all the relations here with this fellow, and he comes with a big backing, a big track record that says I'm the man, which is awesome. Also finalizing terms with the landowner in Santa Teresa, and then we will be ready to enter our due diligence phase. Martin has begun on insurances, and I've also begun interviews and meetings and consultations around solar panel solutions, as well as EV charging stations in our place. So those have begun. And this is a photo from yesterday on our site in Manuel Antonio, looking very much worse for wear. Very overgrown. We had some of our fantastic partners, Will and Vanessa, who were down there in Costa Rica on a family vacation, and stopped by, checked out the place. I know it's not looking fantastic, but there's about to be diggers and bulldozers put through it, so it doesn't really matter how much grass is on it right now. But yeah, and a beautiful sunset. So all this shrubbery and trees and everything, it'll be a beautiful sight here soon. All right. So achievements over the last 14 days. We've had multiple qualified conversations with potential investors and partners. It's a hard one to talk about on here because I want to give as many details as possible, but I, can't and will soon, hopefully. The Satena has been submitted. Our PPM is underway. We've signed with Esteban, and we've found a tokenization partner that's, it's not going to come in handy right now, but as the future unfolds, it's going to become very, very fruitful. Over the next 14 days over the next 14 days, we both have an extraordinarily hectic travel schedule. So I will have a lot to talk about the next Founders Call. It's going to be a very beefy one. Martin is going to be in Costa Rica. So many updates are going to come from that. Potentially good, potentially bad. Hopefully the former. I'm flying out to Pennsylvania tomorrow night on a red eye, which I unfortunately for negative reasons, we've had a passing in the family. But I'm also going to be going to the ADISA conference in Chicago. I'm potentially meeting a potential partner in New York, which is exciting while I'm there. The 2024 Q1 report was due on April the 1st. I realized that we did not do that about an hour before this Founders Call. So if you are a current investor, I do apologize sincerely. I will get those out to you tomorrow morning. So that is 100% my bad. I will take that. So if you do have any feelings about that, please feel free to hit my email and tell me exactly how you feel about it, and I am willing to take it because it's my bad, and I'm sorry. But that will be out tomorrow. Costa Rica LOIs, we're hoping to get those out as well for Senator Teresa over the next 2 weeks and begin the due diligence phase. Hopefully we can finalize some partnerships in Costa Rica and then also on home soil here in the US with our management company, with the partners that we're speaking with. In 2 weeks, we are hoping to have the PPM done, which I know is very fast for a PPM. It's usually 4 to 6 weeks or more. We're hoping to have that done in a total of 3 weeks. It's been almost a week now, and we'll be, hopefully have that done in the next 2. So very, very ambitious, but we'll see. Hopefully we will have entered into the due diligence phase. That is dependent on the partnerships that we can finalize. We don't want to enter into the due diligence phase before we have those partnerships, because if we enter into it and start going through and then we bring on a partner, it all sort of starts from zero again. And that's just something we don't want to do. We don't want to do things twice. And then if we have some time, we're really looking forward to dreaming about a sleep-in. However, highly unlikely. If you do want to work with us at the Nova House, you can do 2 things for right now. You can become a fund manager, or you can just do introductions. A fund manager is if you know a bunch of people out there who you think would be interested in the Nova House and who are all accredited investors. They might be a firm, they might be an individual, they might be a family, they might be a family office, whatever it might be. If you have these contacts out there and you're like, I want to refer them, but I also want to get involved as well, you can become a fund manager. And this is something that we've got we've got a few people actually who are moving forward on this fund manager position. And what that is you're basically putting yourself in between us and your connections. And what you're doing is you are saying to us, hey, I want to become a fund manager. And what that means is that you go to your contacts and your connections and you say, hey, let's invest in the Nova House. If you want to put in $1 million, so they give you $1 million, and that goes into your fund, your LLC, and then you then invest that into us at the Nova House. We win because obviously we get investment and get to develop and build and create these incredible experiences and properties all around the world. You win because you get to take a bigger piece of the pie with less fees on your end than originally planned. And then you also are able to charge asset management fees and things like acquisition fees, formation fees, etc. to your investors. And then they win because they're working with you, who they know and they trust, and you are doing the work for them. Win, win, win. How many times you come up with a triple threat win in your life? Not many. Take it. Introductions. If that is not for you, then introductions is for you. And what an introduction is, if you haven't done it, it's a pretty hard gig. Basically, you are sending a text message to a friend saying, hey, I'd love to introduce you to Tyler at the Nova House. I think you guys would hit it off. Thanks. That's all it takes. Whether that be a group chat, whether that be a CC in an email, whether that be, whatever. That's all that it takes. I do this daily. Daily, I'm connecting people and I get nothing out of it. If you can do it and get something out of it, fantastic. That is me. I know you can't see it. That is me setting up a group chat. I'm getting there. I send a lot of texts. That is me sending a group chat. That is me sending a group chat. This is all today. So I have connected 2, 4, 6, 7 of my connections right now to one another, referring business to other people. I win because I trust the 2 people that I'm referring to one another, and I personally get the goodwill out of the positive things that happen out of that relationship. So as things progress in a positive way, they're always going to look back and be like, wow, we're so grateful that Tyler introduced us. And I get excited because I'm like, I get to see these 2 people that I love and trust and know flourish. And that's all that you're doing. So if you trust me and you trust Martin and you like what we're doing and you have friends out there who you like them and you trust them and you want the best for them and you think that they might like what we're doing, let them know. Send them our way. Say, hey, you should meet Tyler. Hey, you should meet Martin. Hey, you should check out their website. And then, hey, if you decide that you want to move forward with them, let them know that you heard about them from me or from who, whatever your name might be. And that is as easy as it is. You don't need to sell them. You do not need to pitch them. You do not need to do any of that. All you're doing is saying, hey, I think that you would love the Nova House. You should definitely check it out. And you will earn a finder's fee of 3%. I need to take out the word commish from that legally. But you will earn a 3% finder's fee on whatever that turns out to be. So if you have somebody that you know and they invest $1 million, there is a $30,000 check coming to you as a finder's fee. And with that, there is a quote that I want to touch on. I want to end this with a quote. And the quote is, to get what you want, you have to earn what you want. And that is by Charlie Munger. So if you're out there and you're wanting to invest in real estate and you're wanting to be a millionaire and you're wanting to be a billionaire, or you want to get super big and you want to get strong and you want to, get the girl and you want to get the abs and you want to, I don't know what it is. You want to be the musician. You want to be the artist, whatever it is that you want to do out there. To get that, you have to earn it. And you do not earn it by hoping, by wishing, by planning, by strategizing, by praying, by doing all this tomfoolery. You get there by doing the work, by putting the hard yards in, by going through the suck, not just one day, not just 2 days, but 1,000 days, 2,000 days, a decade. Some people can't even fathom that, a decade. Imagine going through the suck for a decade to get what you want. To get what you want, you have to earn what you want. You're great. Appreciate you.